So I'm on the brink of 2300, so let's play something weird, knight c3, to confuse him. So AreYouAFish, so e4. Now this has been played before. I think we're just going to transpose into a Caracan variation. If I play bishop, I don't know, bishop d3 or bishop c4, I think bishop d3. Stop this bishop bearing down. Although maybe he can play c5 in one go. This might not be great. b3 or bishop g5. Maybe bishop g5. Try and provoke weakness. So AreYouAFish. There's a. It reminds me of this Korchnoi interview on TV. He's talking about Karpov. And it's quite a funny quotation from Korchnoi. You know, he's saying, Karpov doesn't overestimate, he doesn't underestimate. He plays like a fish. It was quite funny, anyway. So I don't know, Let's get back to the game then. So Queen e3 here. Might be knight g4, so what about Queen e2? Queen e2. I don't think I overestimate the position, because I don't really think it's that good. He moves his queen out of the way. He's got a very solid pawn structure. I'm not sure I can break it down at the moment. Knight f5 though. Knight gf5. Trying to use that pin. Could take, play rook e8. Where's the queen going? Am I stuffed after that? Knight df5, same effect, queen e7, but there might be queen d6. On the hand, rook takes e1, and I lose my queen on d6. Okay, so apart from those wonderful ideas, how about just queen f3, I lose the b2 pawn. b4, knight moves to a4 and c3 becomes weak. Knight h5, actually that looks the most promising candidate move so far, using that pin. Yeah, I don't immediately lose, apart from b2, when he takes, I lose b2. So that's not brilliant either. Hang on, takes bishop e7 though, I'm fine. It's good, it's actually a good move. Now maybe this knight f5. Or should I take on f6? Knight f5. My h5 is going to be unpre after all this. No, d7 will be unpre. I don't see. Let's just simplify the position here with knight f6. Try and gain some time on the clock. So this structure is solid. Does bishop f6 actually gain anything? What about just bishop e3? Trying to evict that queen from b6, stop this pressure on b2. So I've got no plan at the moment, that's the problem here. I could try and encourage weaknesses, queen h5 to encourage g6. If this queen stops bearing down on b2. So, queen h5 is not really a plan, it's a provocation of weaknesses strategy to try and get something from nothing. Unless queen moves knight b5, if queen moves to c7 or knight b5 to d6, if that's significant. Well, with d8 there's a horrible pin there anyway. So maybe this isn't so bad if the queen's got no useful squares. I'm actually threatening knight takes e6 actually. If the queen moves off of e6 then rook takes d7. This is what I mean, catch up. You know the TCC on that long game? It's like catching up the details of position here. So after this bishop e3, d7 is actually vulnerable now. It's an unprotected piece in the position. So you have to somehow, catch up to the finesses. So knight f5 attacks the queen and attacks d7. Queen moves, say, to c7, then there's no big deal. What about this other plan? Queen h5, there's queen b2. Alright, I think I'll play knight f5 anyway. Let me go to d6. I play knight d6 here. So have I got bishop f4 coming up? Or queen f3 to attack b7? There might be knight c5 but then bishop c5. So queen f3 attacking b7. Unless there's knight e5 but then queen takes b7. Just about. I'm not losing d6 just about because his queen's in pre. So knight e5, queen b7. I'm hoping that's okay. So, right. So here, knight d6, rook b2 is getting counterplay. It's unfortunate. I can win the a6 pawn though, or play a4. I think I'll play a4 first. Okay, now how about bishop c1? So he's still potentially going to win the a6 pawn. Rook e4 here. Those c3's now weak. If he moves the knight a6, maybe a knight b4. Knight a6, bishop c3. That rook here, and knight d5. Okay, I think I might as well take on a6 for the moment. It's no big deal my position anymore, is it? Nothing much. Try and rescue that pawn. Well, it was nothing earlier anyway. I mean, don't tell me I'm losing that pawn now. Great, I'm losing the pawn. Dear oh dear. I can't. There's no trickery here to save the pawn. So rook on the 7th, but first I have to make some air for the king. Rook on the 7th might give some compensation, in any case, for the pawn. So how do I get some coordination? Knight c7, knight e8. I'll try for knight c7. Okay, so knight e8 would threaten knight f6, damaging the pawn structure, bishop h6. Or it might threaten knight d6, taking in on f7. So knight e8. Okay. So knight d6 here. You can probably defend this quite easily. Or we can take on e3. Knight b6 I can take. So he's a bit short on time. There's a pawn up, clear pawn up. But knight f7's a threat here. Okay, or just knight f7 anyway. So I might be playing knight e5. I'm losing another pawn. I could take here to avoid losing yet another pawn. Oh, e5. Okay, can I win the e6 pawn? I think this rook and pawn inning might be tricky to win with about 12 seconds. I should maybe play king f4. A few checks in. Oh, king g5. Why didn't I play king g5 there? Oops. Now this isn't particularly great etiquette by me, but when is he going to offer a draw? Do I have to offer a draw? Okay, I'll try and win this somehow. Rook G6. I went on time. Sorry, that was sick. I shouldn't have run on time. But on the plus side, I'm over 2300 now, 2-3-11. And if he had offered the draw, I think I would have accepted it. But I don't know. He expected me to offer a draw. But here, oh well. Yeah, sick game. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't have anything there in the middle game. I was drifting a bit, and then managed to lose a pawn. So I pawn down, just rook on the 7th, tried to make something out of that. Nearly lost another one, not quite. So just exchange of pawns there. So pawn down and rook and pawn ending. It's a bit of a tight game, and then messing around until this guy ran out of time. Comments or questions on YouTube? Thanks very much.